Hey everyone, and welcome. Get ready because today we're going to make you the hit of every party you ever go to.
Oh, what kind of trouble are we getting into today?
No trouble, just knowledge, pure, unadulterated science that will make your conversation sparkle.
I like the sound of that. So where are we getting this potent conversational fuel?
From a source that's as intriguing as its name, cocktail party chemistry. It's basically a collection of science factoids served up in a way that's both fun and memorable.
Like a mental cheat sheet for those moments when you want to drop some knowledge and impress your friends.
Exactly. I mean, this is where you learn that fungi can help lower cholesterol, or that venom toxins hold secrets to understanding the nervous system.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Right. They even delve into how scientists are using cryo-electron microscopy to design better medications. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Sounds like a treasure trove of fascinating facts. So for our deep dive today, which gem are we going to polish up?
We're focusing on a concept from episode 106. Solar fuels unleashed photocatalysis for clean energy.
Okay, photocatalysis sounds intriguing, but can we break it down a bit? What's the deal with this?
Think of it as harnessing the power of the sun to drive chemical reactions.
So like tiny solar panels, but instead of generating electricity, they're making chemistry happen.
You got it. These are photocatalysts. They capture sunlight and use that energy to make things happen that wouldn't normally occur.
Like some sort of alchemy powered by the sun. That's amazing.
It is. And one of the most exciting applications of this is in splitting water.
Wait, hold on. You're talking about separating the hydrogen and oxygen in water, like using just sunlight?
Exactly.
That's wild.
Imagine it. Creating clean-burning hydrogen fuel without needing fossil fuels. Just water and sunshine.
Okay, that's definitely a game changer. But how close is this to becoming a reality? Are we talking about a distant future, or could we actually see this happening in our lifetimes?
It's definitely a field with enormous potential, but, there are some hurdles. One of the biggest is efficiency.
So we've got the concept, but it's not quite working well enough to be practical on a large scale.
Right. Right now, photocatalysis is still relatively inefficient, and we need to make those catalysts much better at capturing sunlight and driving those reactions. I mean, if we want to see it used widely, that is.
Okay, makes sense. So what are scientists doing to overcome this efficiency hurdle? I mean, are there any promising approaches?
One of the most exciting avenues is nanotechnology.
Ah, nanotech. Always pushing the boundaries. How's it helping in this case?
Researchers are creating nanostructured catalysts. These are basically catalysts with incredibly high surface area.
High surface area meaning?
It's like giving them more space to interact with sunlight and the molecules involved in the reaction. The greater the surface area, the more efficiently they can work their magic.
So it's not just about the material itself, but also about how it's structured, right? Like at a microscopic level.
Absolutely. The architecture of these nanostructures is crucial. Different shapes, sizes, and arrangements can significantly impact how well they capture light and drive those chemical reactions.
Wow, so there's a whole world of design and engineering going on at the nanoscale. It's pretty amazing.
Definitely. And it's opening up incredible possibilities for photocatalysis. And, water splitting isn't the only trick these catalysts have up their sleeves.
Oh, there's more. Okay, tell me, what else can they do?
They can also transform carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas, remember, into usable carbon-based fuels.
Hang on. So not only could they help us create clean energy, but they could actually help us clean up the atmosphere, like taking harmful CO2 and turning it into something useful.
You got it. It's a mind-blowing concept. Just imagine, not only reducing our reliance on fossil fuels, but also actively capturing and utilizing the gas that's contributing to climate change. I mean, it's incredibly powerful.
It really is. It completely changes how we think about energy and sustainability. It's like turning a problem into a solution.
It's like hitting two birds with one stone. But of course, we have to be realistic. We talked about the challenges with efficiency. Are there any other hurdles? I mean, can this really be scaled up to meet the energy demands of the world? Or are we getting ahead of ourselves?
That's the question, isn't it? Scalability is definitely a big one. I mean, we've seen incredible progress in the lab, sure, but translating that to large-scale industrial applications is, well, it's a whole different ballgame.
So there are challenges beyond the science itself, like engineering challenges maybe.
Absolutely. Cost, material availability, and the infrastructure needed to support widespread adoption. All of these things need to be figured out. It's a multifaceted challenge, and it requires collaboration across different fields.
So it's a long road ahead, but the potential payoff is huge.
Huge is an understatement. Clean, renewable energy, tackling climate change. It's a vision worth striving for.
It really is. And I can see why this cocktail party chemistry fact caught your attention. It's not just science, it's about the future of energy and the environment.
Exactly. It makes you think, right? It sparks curiosity and opens up a world of possibilities. And who knows, maybe our conversation today will inspire someone listening to contribute to making this vision a reality.
Well, I'm definitely feeling more informed and maybe a little more optimistic about the future of energy. But before we dive deeper into the world of photocatalysis, let's take a moment to explore some other fascinating tidbits from cocktail party chemistry.
Oh, there's some real gems in there. Like, did you know that the FDA once banned a perfectly safe food coating? And the reason it looked too much like a dangerous chemical?
They banned it because it looks sketchy. Seriously.
We'll get to that. But first, how about a drug that can make you smell things that aren't actually there? So this drug that makes people smell things that aren't there.
Yeah, that's the one. It sounds pretty wild.
Well, it's called phantasmia, and it can be a side effect of some medications.
Medications, huh? Like what kind?
Certain antidepressants and antipsychotics, for example, it basically causes people to smell things that aren't actually present.
Like what? What kind of smells?
It can vary, but burnt toast is a common one. Sometimes it's even stranger odors, like really bizarre.
I can't even imagine. Their sense of smell is just making stuff up. That's got to be confusing.
It can be quite unsettling, yeah. Like having a hallucination, but for your nose. And speaking of hallucinations, we shall talk about psychedelics.
Okay, psychedelics. We all know they can really alter your perception. But what's going on chemically? What makes them so powerful?
Well, one key aspect is their influence on the brain's default mode network, the DMN.
Default mode network. That's a new one for me.
Think of it as your brain's idle state, active when you're not focused on a specific task.
Like daydreaming? Or just spacing out?
Exactly. It's associated with things like daydreaming, self-reflection, even your sense of self.
So it's like the background hum of our consciousness.
You got it. And psychedelics like psilocybin can disrupt this DMN.
Disrupt it. How?
They lead to decreased self-referential thoughts and a sense of ego dissolution, like temporarily silencing that inner voice that's always chattering.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. So it's like quieting that inner monologue. Could that be why they have therapeutic potential?
That's one of the leading theories, yeah. For conditions like depression and anxiety, instead of masking symptoms, they might help rewire the brain.
So it's not just about the trip itself, but about creating lasting changes in how the brain works. That's pretty amazing.
Definitely a hot area of research, but let's switch gears for a second and circle back to something we mentioned earlier. The FDA and those action levels for stuff in our food.
Oh, right, right. The whole thing about insect fragments. It still blows my mind every time I think about it.
It's a great example of how science meets practicality. The FDA knows absolute purity in food is just not realistic.
So they're okay with a little bit of extra protein.
Basically, they set acceptable limits for certain contaminants that pose no real health risk, like tiny amounts that aren't going to hurt you.
So it's a balance, right, between safety and actually being able to produce food.
Exactly. And these action levels are always being reviewed and updated based on new data, the dynamic process.
Makes sense. But how do they even figure out what's safe? Seems like a tough call to make.
It's a complex process, for sure. Scientists look at things like the toxicity of the contaminant, the typical levels found in food, and the potential health risks.
So it's not just about whether something is there, but also the amount, and if it actually poses a risk to people.
Precisely. It's a nuanced balancing act. They have to weigh all those factors to ensure food safety while acknowledging the realities of, how food is produced.
Well, I'm glad someone's thinking about this stuff. But speaking of complex decisions, there's been some exciting news in the world of male contraception.
Ah, yes, that's a big one. Have you been following this?
I have. What's the latest?
Well, there's been a breakthrough with 3D mapping of the P2X1 receptor. This could pave the way for a hormone-free male contraceptive pill.
No hormones. That's huge. Most of what I've heard about has been hormonal approaches. And those can have some not-so-fun side effects.
And you're telling me. But this new approach, it targets sperm transport specifically without affecting hormone levels.
So how does it even work? What is this P2X1 receptor thing?
It's a protein found on sperm cells, and it plays a crucial role in their, ability to move.
So by targeting this receptor, they can basically stop the sperm in its tracks without messing with hormones.
Pretty much. It's like putting the brakes on sperm motility, preventing fertilization.
That's clever. It's like a targeted approach, addressing the root of the issue.
You could say that. It offers the potential for a safe, effective, and reversible male contraceptive.
It's about time, right? Men need more options when it comes to family planning.
Couldn't agree more. It's a development that's been a long time coming, and it's great to see the progress. But speaking of things that have been around for a while, let's not forget about our gut bacteria.
Oh yes, the gut-brain connection. I've been hearing so much about this lately. What's the cocktail party chemistry take on this?
Well, get this. Certain gut bacteria can actually synthesize neuroactive molecules, including precursors to GABA and serotonin.
Wait, GABA and serotonin, that's what our brain uses to communicate, right?
Exactly. And the fact that our gut bacteria can produce these compounds, well, it suggests they might be playing a role in regulating mood, even behavior.
Hold on, you're saying the trillions of bacteria in our gut could be influencing our thoughts and emotions? That's kind of freaky.
It's a fairly new area of research, but it's changing how we understand the link between gut health and mental well-being.
This is wild. It really shows how interconnected our bodies are. It's not just separate parts doing their own thing.
Absolutely, and we've only scratched the surface. The human body, the world around us, so many mysteries yet to be uncovered.
And cocktail party chemistry is a great reminder of that. It's packed with these little nuggets of knowledge that makes you want to learn more.
That's the power of knowledge, right? It expands our horizons, makes us question things, and fuels our curiosity. But we've got even more amazing facts to uncover.
I'm all ears. Bring on the mind-blowing science. Okay, I'm ready for more. Hit me with some more of that mind-blowing science.
All right, prepare to have your mind blown wide open. Today we're diving into the world of cryo-electron microscopy. Cryo-EM for short.
Cryo-EM. Okay, that sounds pretty intense. What is that exactly?
Imagine this. Being able to see the machinery of our cells in amazing detail, like down to the individual atoms.
Whoa, really? Like a superpowered microscope?
You could say that. Cryo-EM uses super low temperatures to freeze biological samples. This way their natural structure is preserved.
Frozen samples, okay. And then?
And then they bombard these frozen samples with electrons. This creates high-resolution images.
So it's kind of like an X-ray, but for molecules.
That's a great way to think about it. We're talking about seeing the building blocks of life in their most pristine form.
That's incredible. But why is all this detail so important? What's the big deal with seeing individual atoms?
Well, it's revolutionizing so many fields, like drug discovery, for instance. By understanding the precise structure of proteins involved in disease, well, scientists can design better medications.
So instead of just guessing, they can actually see what they're targeting.
Precisely. Imagine this. They now have a blueprint for building a key that perfectly fits a specific lock. Cryo-EM is giving scientists amazing insights into the molecular world. It's leading to breakthroughs in medicine and beyond.
Okay, this is definitely blowing my mind. The power of technology to unravel those mysteries of life, huh? But let's step back from the microscopic world for a moment. What about this pyrolytic carbon stuff? What is that all about?
All right, get this. Pyrolytic carbon can actually levitate over magnets.
Wait, what? Levitate? You mean like defy gravity?
It's not defying gravity exactly, but it is strongly diamagnetic. It repels magnetic fields, you see. This creates a levitating effect.
Wow, that is so cool. But besides levitating, what else is pyrolytic carbon good for? Does it have any practical uses?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly heat resistant and biocompatible, so it's a perfect material for medical implants, like artificial heart valves. You'll also find it in aerospace, protecting spacecraft from intense heat during re-entry.
No way. So it's saving lives and helping us explore space. That's amazing.
It just goes to show, sometimes the most unexpected materials have the most extraordinary applications. And since we're on the topic of extraordinary, have you ever heard of cold welding?
Cold welding. Nope, never heard of it. What's that?
Picture this. Two pieces of metal. They bond together. No heat, no pressure. Us by touching in a vacuum.
Really? They just stick together. How does that even work?
It all comes down to those free electrons in metals. In a vacuum, when two super clean metal surfaces touch, those electrons can flow freely. This creates metallic bonds that weld the pieces together.
Whoa, it's like their atoms are reaching out and holding hands.
It's a fascinating phenomenon, isn't it? And it actually has real-world implications, especially in space exploration.
Space exploration, how so?
Well, the vacuum of space is a perfect environment for cold welding, and that can be a problem. Like, what if parts of a spacecraft accidentally bond together?
Yikes, that would be a disaster. So engineers have to figure out how to prevent cold welding in space.
Exactly. They use special coatings and materials to stop unwanted bonds. But cold welding also has potential benefits. Scientists are exploring it for bonding materials at the molecular level. This could lead to incredible new devices.
So it's a challenge and an opportunity. That's really interesting. A lot of this cocktail party chemistry stuff seems to walk that line, doesn't it, between potential and peril?
That's the heart of scientific discovery, wouldn't you say? Pushing the boundaries of knowledge, exploring new frontiers, and facing the implications of our findings. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword.
It really makes you think, huh? Well, you've definitely given me a lot to think about today, and I feel a lot more prepared to handle those awkward silences at parties.
That's what we were hoping for. Knowledge is power, remember? Especially when it comes to starting engaging conversations. So go out there, embrace your inner science geek, and share these fascinating tidbits.
And that wraps up our deep dive into cocktail party chemistry. We've explored everything from photocatalysis and its potential for clean energy to the quirks of the FDA and the mind-bending world of cold welding. What a journey.
It just goes to show that science is all around us, shaping our world in ways we often don't even realize. So stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions. Who knows what amazing discoveries are waiting just around the corner. S1E106.